I recently made a video where I talked about the fact that Xbox pretty much pivoted, converted the entire gaming industry to take a different look at how gaming has always been, not how gaming should be, because gaming has always been in a certain way, a certain paradigm, where gamers are more than likely playing live service games rather than playing these so-called single player games or whatnot that we've always, in a sense, held dear. And so Xbox decided, instead of worrying about the metric that doesn't have as much impact, console sales, they decided they were going to go for the metric that has the most impact, content. Spending $70 billion and poised to spend much more, they have basically taken the lead over PlayStation and over Nintendo. In fact, this holiday, a Variety article surfaced and said that Indiana Jones and Call of Duty is taking Xbox ahead, PlayStation and Nintendo in this, in quote, console-less holiday season. Basically, they're not selling as much consoles, but they've now basically taken the lead. One of their studios, Obsidian, is going to dump 2 games in 1 year. Add that to Activision's annual Call of Duty, add the other games coming from the other Xbox studios, you just already see the picture forming. That Xbox, if they execute on all of this properly, becomes a content machine, and PlayStation is going to have to spend a lot of money to catch up, and money that they don't really have to be able to make this happen. Of which, by the time they get there, I just believe that it's going to be them following, and they already are following. They're not, in so-called lead. Somebody asked me a question to this effect. They said, why do you care if Xbox takes the lead? It's a very good question. For the most part, I've been a PlayStation player on console. I started basically having bought my own PlayStation in about 2015, 2016. Before then, I played in PlayStation all my life. I grew up in a third world country, so not going to convince my parents, who wanted me to go be a medical doctor, to buy a PlayStation for me. However, friends did have PlayStations, arcade houses had PlayStations, and that's basically a console that I played on all my life. In fact, most of my closest friends that we all grew up together back home in West Africa, and I live in the, in the Western countries and all, they all have PlayStations. I don't know a single friend of mine from Nigeria that has an Xbox. I've never seen one. And we'll play together. We play our soccer games whenever we want to, smack talk each other. That's kind of our thing. So looking at how PlayStation has basically become in that position is very interesting. They have a worldwide recognition and so on and so forth. But PlayStation's gotten fat and happy and lazy and has no value proposition to be able to match what's in the market. Hence, they need their competitor to come in and show them how it's done. You see, if you leave PlayStation in that position that it was in, you will create in the market a very interesting place where consoles will now be $1,000. Wait, hold on. They are already $1,000. PlayStation sold the PlayStation 5 Pro 30th anniversary edition for $1,000 in an age where Intel is bringing a $250 1440p graphics card. PlayStation looked at its audience, knowing that many of them don't know any better, and sold them inferior hardware at a premium cost. Even with Xbox at this current position, PlayStation is already showing its hand and showing exactly what it's going to do from a perspective of consumer advocacy and consumer protection. You cannot say you don't care if Xbox takes the lead. In this particular situation, I don't think Xbox was gunning for just some kind of arbitrary lead. I think they were gunning for ensuring that their own platform stayed relevant, profitable, and was able to attract gamers to it. This is why we have Game Pass. And also, the value proposition that they brought out, in my opinion, basically is one that I think is the winning strategy. That's just my opinion for the most part, mixed in with a little bit of the facts. But here's the thing. PlayStation had enjoyed a narrative that they were the leader in the market. This has always been a lie. Apparently, smokes and mirrors have been touted by the press and a lot of what I think is discerning fanboys who basically mask as big media talking heads, that somewhere, somehow, that PlayStation had this market under wraps and that Xbox did not come to compete this particular season. Apparently, this had all been gearing up since like 2017, 2018, and I'd been covering it. So I do care. And I've been saying that Xbox had something under their sleeves that was going to pretty much shake the gaming industry. So there is a personal side to it as well, that we were on track to seeing this change happen. We're also watching carefully what PlayStation is doing, but right now it doesn't seem like PlayStation is in the financial position to respond. And again, stupid money that Microsoft has, basically shut up money, is pretty much what they're deciding to throw behind this whole thing. They've basically said it. we are in a position, and this is an email that was found in the FTC trial, to outspend, to spend Sony out of business, because Sony has been taking different tactics. I remember somebody said something in the comment section. It was a very funny comment. They said, yeah, Xbox is basically taking this, and doing it the American way. Just throwing money at it. I'm like, are you going to stereotype an American company for throwing money at something when we have literal evidence of PlayStation being anti-competitive in Asia, where they go to Asia and take an upper hand and block games from going to Xbox? They were basically called out by the US Congress, and because they're not a US company, they could basically skate by? No. That's because the cutthroat tactics of PlayStation basically had to be checked somehow. Thankfully, there's a company like Microsoft with the funds and the willingness to basically do that. And that will be best for even you, the PlayStation fans. You'll get games. You'll get your console provider behave themselves, because they know if they misbehave too much, you're going to go to Xbox for better value, because all their $300 million games are going to be 8 years apart. They have to rack up enough live service money to push out one God of War, push out one, Naughty Dog game or one Sucker Punch game for y'all. And so when you think about it that way, while you're waiting in those 8 years, you can be playing games from Bethesda, playing games from Xbox Studios, playing games from Activision, while you can just spend very little money doing it. It basically is the best value that you can find out there. It's the Netflix of gaming, even in my opinion, getting to be where it's going to be bigger at the end of the day. So why do I care that this thing worked out for them? I care because we need competition in the market, and Xbox could not do it from selling mere boxes, a loss, leader anyway, the loss approach, basically selling a console at a subsidized amount so that people can go buy software. They decided that they were going to take that all out of the equation, let people just buy software, which has worked out for them. We've seen their financials are ticking up. We don't know if it's going to be significantly better, but they also have a management task on hand where if they fail, they'll fail big. If they succeed, they'll succeed big. So it's all or nothing with them this time. Sarah Bond has basically decided this is an Xbox. They're taking the rails off. They're making sure that they are positioned that every single game, you see, this is where you will see that many Xbox games are going to do way better, because if the game was going to fail on Xbox by itself and not be bought on PC, PlayStation will come in and carry the game with its 61 million consoles. If I was in the same position to manage Xbox, I would do the exact same thing. I would do the exact same, because you see, the fanboys, they don't understand that if these studios don't sell games, they will close them down. You see, many of them are sitting here, but they don't realize that Arcane Austin is no longer a thing. They will act like they don't see it. And I'm talking to the Xbox fanboys in this case. Many of you are not paying attention. You really do feel like Xbox needs to sit here and justify your warm list wars, when in reality, studios are getting closed and sold off back and forth if they're not profitable. I mean, look at PlayStation themselves. They don't have anywhere to go either. If their games don't do well, they basically delisted a $400 million project and went ahead and closed down that studio, as well as another studio, I mean, it's insane. So yes, sell software, because your hardware is one piece of the whole equation. But if it's not going to be able to bring in the money that the studios need, why lose the studio rather than just sell the game wherever it is that you can sell the game? This is a very smart business move, and I just cannot see how there's still ancient millennials thinking that gaming needs to basically follow the old ways of doing things. And for those of you that are PlayStation fans, my fellow PlayStation fans, this is about to become very interesting, because for years you have said weird stuff. You've said things like Xbox has no games, Xbox is dead, blah, blah, blah. But now they're about to dunk on PlayStation with so many games. You won't be able to see you won't be able to see that blue. The green is going to be so thick. You're going to be wondering, what is PlayStation doing? It's not like PlayStation is not doing anything. It's just that what PlayStation has done in the past is no longer working anymore. Like, it's starting to wane because the industry has changed and gaming is now a whole different beast. So that's why I care. That's exactly why I care. Because at the forefront of this conversation was myself, with a very small YouTube following, and everybody calling me crazy. Now they're calling me crazy because I'm correct, because the data has finally pushed over to the other side. And that's pretty much why I care. I'm glad you asked. Thanks for watching the video. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.